You're watching number one podcast in the wrestling community. It's actually live and not taped. And I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And together we are
Rope Break.
Rope Break. How's everybody tonight? Hope all of you are doing fine, well, especially healthy. That should be the word. Another day of imprisonment. And we have all Smackdown for you guys. We know the show was taped and everything, but we have a lot of more news. So we're going to go over that before anything. Jean-Paul was the one that broke the news. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so just first and foremost, like we said, we do have a lot to get into. Just thank you to all the new subscribers and everybody who's sticking with us during this time, checking out all the content we have. You know, we had, what was it, Fozzy?
Yeah,
live from a couple years ago, back when concerts were still going on and weren't postponed in 2021. But, you know, so check that out, and you just, like, put it full screen and put the lights off in your room, and then you can pretend you're actually there. You know, turn the volume up, wake up all the kids. They don't have school, you know what I mean? So.
Does it bad that you're saying that? Like, back when we could actually go to concerts?
Yeah, well, hey, I mean, it's true, you know what I mean? So, anyway, back to, like, all the things that should be canceled, like concerts, WrestleMania.
Yeah,
it's still going on, despite... There's so many people who are like, I mean, this show was taped. So, like, I even forgot the show was taped. We saw Asuka, you know, she had a match against Alexa Bliss, and I was like, I just read a report she's sick. And it wasn't only her. There was Andrade who was sick. The Miz. Roman Reigns pulled out. We reported that, I think, earlier today, was it?
No, yesterday night.
Yesterday,
you broke those news to me, and then I broke that for everybody else in the rest of the social media we have.
And, you know, I think, I said Andrade, Cesaro. Who else? The Miz?
The Miz, Rey Mysterio was there. Dana Brooke wasn't there. Like, all of them. Daniel Bryan also decided to quarantine himself.
And this is the thing. Like, if people, it can sometimes take a week for you to, like, actually get sick. So who knows how many more WWE superstars. Morrison probably gets sick.
Yeah, because he's around the Miz.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, all these people, and look how close they were sitting to Michael Cole tonight.
Yes.
Michael, boom, you know, who's not to say, you know, that's what I mean. This whole thing is crazy. What they should be doing right now is just canceling this, postponing it. I know they already filmed it, so what's done is done. But it's like, just, to me, just send everybody home. Just send them home, let them sleep, let them rest, even if you're not sick. Hey, just stay home and rest with your family. You know what I mean? They should all just stay home.
Everything gets better. Yes. Like there's been a lot of like reports, like Jean-Paul was saying. All of these superstars are sick. A lot of the matches had to be changed, had to be arranged. For example, like they decided today there was gonna be a triple threat ladder match for the tag titles. That didn't happen because the Miz was not going there. Cien Almas is on top of being like, I don't think he's sick, but I think he's injured. He got injured in the match with Cedric Alexander and Ricochet on Monday Night Raw.
I saw a thing he was sick. I mean, it could be, who knows? It could unfortunately be both.
Yeah, it could be both. And he was replaced by Austin Theory from NXT, so that was a big thing for him. Probably he was right there. So, you know, he was walking by. He was like, hey, I'm going to go to Titus Catering. I'm going to get something to eat. Hey, dude, you're out. So, like Jean-Paul is saying, the main point here is like, if you had to do so many changes, if you have to compromise the well-being of your superstar, if you have to like change the stories to the point that like it doesn't even feel like a WrestleMania anymore.
Doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Why keep going with it? Because of the one desire, the one whim of one guy, and that is Vince Kennedy McMahon. So see, that's the thing.
Vincent P.O.S. McMahon.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yes, like, you know, everybody, and I'm telling you, there's so many reports that, like, they've been saying that everybody was saying we should cancel, you know, like, postpone this, stop this, it doesn't make any sense, it's going against everything or our values that we say. We always, like, you know, try to look out for our superstars, for our crowds and everything. You know, he decided that he has to go with it. Because at the end of the day, like everybody says, everybody that works in that particular company, he has the last word. Whether it's good or bad, it falls on him.
Yeah.
So it's you know, it's terrible. It's terrible. Like you said, postpone the goddamn thing. You know, make it bigger, like you said yesterday in our review for NXT. Make this show so meaningful because everybody's back. Life is back to normal. Make this thing like the biggest, greatest WrestleMania of all time. No.
That's what they should do, but instead we're gonna most likely get this like house show thrown together with like it's almost like you took like a piece of construction paper, Elmer's glue, macaroni noodles, and you made some bullshit art project, and you're like here, and you're trying to hand it into some like art college, and it's like
Yes.
what like you really expect this to pass? Like you expect me to care about this? You threw this together. It doesn't make any sense, and it's awful, and not just for the quality of the show, but you're just endangering all of your employees who after this they're probably gonna as soon as their contract's up they're going somewhere else because you don't see any of these, you don't see AEW. Look, AEW is probably gonna start reeling back their shows. They might even cancel their shows. They might say, hey, we had a planned off season, because I know they still have that planned off season. I don't think they got rid of that.
Yes.
So they might say, hey, you know what, this calendar year we're switching it up. Our off season is right now.
Yeah, and it might be a possibility.
Yeah, because they postponed the blood and guts match, and people, a couple people were disappointed, and they're like, oh, what the heck? But hey, they postponed it. They didn't get rid of it. It's not like they said, oh, it's not happening anymore. They're just doing what's best for the wrestlers. They're not doing what's best for the visions and desires of one man.
Yes, it is true, and like you said, the negligence. That's the word right there. The key word is negligent, because he's actually being negligent about the situation. A lot of reports also mentioned that they were like officials were saying, if you have a fever, if you're not feeling well, don't bother coming in. Don't bother flying to Orlando. Don't expose yourself. All like your creativity, whatever storyline you were into, it will not be affected by it. But just don't have the thing. We know that Braun Strowman is replacing Roman Reigns.
I was gonna mention that too later. I was gonna say we were making a joke. We said Jeff Hardy, and you had some picture. I guess that was a bullshit.
It was just Photoshop. It was just Photoshop.
It was. Oh, I thought it was when you posted it. I thought it was from WWE, but
I know. I got
me excited. You got me excited thinking it was Jeff Hardy, and then bullshit Braun Strowman, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, it was like it doesn't make any sense. And again, the main point that you and I want to say is like they should have just postponed the thing. If it doesn't mean cancel, don't have it this year. Postpone it. Get rid of how many pay-per-views that are irrelevant in the calendar year. Like Extreme Rules. All these pay-per-views. Hell in a Cell. All Backlash, Payback. All of those. Get rid of them. You have a span of
and you know what? Even if WrestleMania goes on when SummerSlam would, let's say July, August, sometime around there, you could. I know it will hurt Vince McMahon. It'll hurt his bank account because it's not two separate shows; it's only one. But just call it WrestleMania SummerSlam Edition, WrestleMania 36 SummerSlam Edition, and make it, like I said, a super huge show. You can even give me 3.5, 4 hours each night. If all the matches are extremely legit and they make sense, we still get Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Goldberg. Here's something I thought that was actually funny for who should replace Roman Reigns. Main event night 1 should be McIntyre beats Lesnar, and then Goldberg's in the ring, and he's like, who's next, blah, blah, blah. Brock Lesnar comes out and beats Goldberg, and then Lesnar's the champion on SmackDown.
And see, that would have been cool. That would have been a good swerve. Isaiah, that would be cool. A lot of people were calling for Gilbert. And then retiring match going against Goldberg.
And then we could get Roman and Lesnar when he comes back there to
one
wrestle.
More time.
Yeah, we know how much. Yeah, hey,
why not? But you're right. See, that's the main point. And again, a lot of people are saying why you're lying to us, because we all know what's going on, and then still they put the show that they record. But like you were saying, it's tape. What are you gonna do?
It's tape. I mean, if you look hard enough, you can already find out who won all these matches that they taped already.
Yeah. So for that reason we hope that you said that there's a report out there that they might still postpone it because they're probably not happy with the end product. With the final product, they're probably not happy with whatever they were able to tape because they know that there's so many gaps, and that's gonna make even the product worse than what it is because we know it's bad. But if they finally to make that decision, good for them. They're knowing that they're screwing it up. At least they can fix it. They still have time. They have one more week. We don't know what the stage of the nation, the world is going to be. But if they do that, good for them. Because that way everybody can get the WrestleMania that we all as fans deserve.
Exactly.
Yes. So let's move on. John Paul was saying, thank you so very much for every single one of you. And the show started with Bailey and Sasha. They had a promo. They came out. Bailey looking really like really nice. Like I think it's a different haircut. I
Yeah,
think like
well, I mean,
extra
yeah,
haircut.
she just like cut it short. Like like us, we unfortunately can't go get our haircuts because we're in solitude. But like she can get they have
The
a
hairdressers and everything.
hairdresser, a makeup artist. They just boom, 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 cut all their hair, do all that stuff for them. So yeah, I think she just trimmed her hair from like
Yeah,
how.
she got it. Yeah, she's trimmed. Like he said, we're still, we're trying to afford like all the makeup artists, all of those. Like it is with time. It comes with time. But like she comes out with Sasha Banks, and they said it's not fair that Bailey has to defend her title at WrestleMania in a 5-way. See, they already didn't even mention Dana Brooke, but
No,
we know.
they just kind of like.
Yep, chop it up. Yep.
Like
And then he said in
no,
a fight.
I was brushing it under the rug. I wasn't chopping her up, but
It,
I'm
looked like
not
you were.
no, I'm not as cynical as you. I was like brushing it, like with a broom. Like remember
Yeah.
you sweeping back line before you
Yeah.
closed the store? Yeah,
Yes.
come on, come on.
Yes. Yes. So anyway, so she's trashing Paige, and then she pushed how close she is with Banks as Lacey Evans goes to the ring, and then also like she's saying, "Well, I'm gonna be the one winning the championship," and it's like, "Oh no, you give me one word, you're a loser. You're just a complete loser." And then Naomi comes in, and then she said, "No, the glow is gonna be bright again. I'm gonna be a three times SmackDown Women's Champion," and then we get at the end Tamina.
And can I just say that, like, when they're all coming out, Bailey goes, she's like, what? Is like, this is going to be one of those things where people just come out to the ring and their music hits and it's like everybody has something to say. And I feel like WWE does it so much that Bailey is like, they all know, they're like, the show is such bullshit. This is a joke. Why are we even having this? So they don't even care. They're like, let's just break the fourth wall and have, like, not even have fun, but make fun of it. It's like,
Yeah.
so, like, all right, Tamina, come out and, your music's going to hit and do all the dumb shit you have to do. She comes out to the ring. Actions speak louder than words.
Words, yes.
And, like, it's like, oh, my, it's like.
The only move that she knows.
Yeah, who cares? And the awful splash where she climbs up to the top turnbuckle and just.
Yeah.
And then falls forward.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. It was not a good segment. Like you said, you can tell probably it was one take thing. It's like, okay, guys, whatever comes out, if it comes out good, good. If it doesn't, if it's bad, it's bad.
They don't care.
We'll find a way to fix it.
I don't know why you just didn't do. Like, I don't know why. I mean, I know why. Because Vince McMahon, he just has to get everybody on the card because he thinks if you have 1,000 wrestlers on WrestleMania, it makes it the most special pay-per-view. But I don't know why Paige didn't just go, oh, you beat everybody on SmackDown except Sasha Banks. Boom, one-on-one. And just do that.
I agree with you. WrestleMania needs to be like the most special matches for each title. It should be the biggest rivalry for each title, like you said. Sasha Banks against Bailey.
And we have some other breaking news, which was so groundbreaking. You don't hear a lot about it, but I just want to tell everybody because they'll probably be heartbroken. There's no men's and women's battle royal at WrestleMania.
Yes.
I just want for all you people who that's your favorite part of the show and you're heartbroken. I feel bad for you.
Heartbreak is real, people. Heartbreak is real. So that was the end of the segment. Pretty much and also Bailey and Sasha, they're starting beating up Lacey and Naomi, and then they go like, oh, Tamina, ooh. All of a sudden she's a powerhouse. All of a sudden she's good. All of a sudden we're also all scared of her. And then they leave
until after this match, and then she goes away for 8 months.
Yep, pretty much another 8 months, and we forget even who Tamina is. So that's what it was, I guess. I don't know if it came out great, like you said.
No, like I said, it came out with, to me, zero energy. They didn't care. It's the same formula each and every time with these women, or not with these women, but like with these matches, where instead of because if I like when you do people matches for the men or the women, you have storylines and they somehow interject.
Yes.
Where it's like, Bailey and Sasha are friends. It should have been that Sasha was feuding with Lacey Evans, and then maybe Bailey was feuding with somebody else, and then it's because Bailey and Sasha are connected, maybe these other two women were like, hey, let's team up, let's take them down. But then have backstage segments, have Lacey Evans talking to Naomi backstage and saying, I'm really sick of these two. Like, I tried to do it alone. I can't. Can you help me? And Naomi could be like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But if I beat them, I'm going after the championship. I'm not going to help you win it. Like, have it be like, we're going to team up, but my goal is still the championship. They
Yes.
don't do anything to build these stories. They just throw all the women, like they have all the women in a box and it's their toys. They just dump it on the table and they're like, all right, there's the matchup.
And then
Instead
you
of,
make the best out of it. Yeah.
yeah.
It's not good, and we don't even know how they're gonna deal with this right now. With like what did they tape and everything. So it was for what it was. It's
Hmm.
just a segment. They needed to kill time.
Imagine if they taped an ending where every single woman won. Like they
You
where like Tamina won, Sasha won, Bailey,
you wouldn't be wrong.
Lacey, Naomi.
You wouldn't be wrong for thinking that way because knowing these guys and everything that you just said, it might be true. It might be true because depending on what they feel like is gonna turn out better on TV, they probably just did that. So moving along, we get something that we already called it. We already said it was gonna happen. Drew Gulak against Shinsuke Nakamura, and of course, what was supposed to happen?
Well, I mean, of course, because it's like you book a match 2 weeks out from WrestleMania, and it's like the only way this match will happen is if Gulak beats Nakamura. So what are you gonna do? Have Gulak lose, and then it's like, so Daniel Bryan, you're not gonna be at WrestleMania. It's done. No,
And
you're gonna have Gulak lose. Excuse me, you're gonna have Gulak win, beat Nakamura, because who cares about Shinsuke Nakamura? Who cares about making a storyline longer than 2 weeks? Who cares about making WrestleMania feel special? No one. So
yeah,
we knew Gulak was gonna win. So
yeah, and I give but in the end of the day, Daniel Bryan ended up quarantining himself. So
yeah.
there's not. I don't know. There's going to be a match for the IC title. They don't know.
Maybe they'll do Gulak versus Sami Zayn and
You don't know.
Gulak.
You know what I saw? I saw a picture of Jeff Hardy holding the IC belt.
Okay, don't get me wrong. Do I love Jeff Hardy? Yes. Should Sami Zayn have lost the title?
No.
He should have had a legit title reign.
Let Fidel Castro have it. He's good.
First of all, going back to a couple months ago, I don't even know why when they won that that handicap match, why the first people he fused with weren't Nakamura and Cesaro in triple threat matches. Because they could have been tearing down the house, the three of them. Yep. Triple threat match, until, because any one of those guys winning, I would have been fine with. I think Sami Zayn should have retained, but they should have been like, dude, we helped you win this title.
Yes.
And they're like, what have you done for us? Every match that you've been our manager that you booked us in, we lost and looked like idiots.
You even booked that, remember? You even booked it. That was the whole bill for WrestleMania. Should have been like, you said it. Yeah, they helped them win, and then they go, well, we are the champions. You're not. And then that starts the whole feud, and it's like to see who's the real champion.
Yeah.
You have the triple threat. No. Did they
do
that? No. So, of course, let's go to just the last sequence of the match. Nakamura landed a knee up to the top rope, the one that he always does, for a 2 count. Then he started laying in more knee strikes on Gulak. Nakamura went for the Kinshasa, but Daniel Bryan pulled Gulak away, and then Gulak got a bridge-in pin on for the win. That's all it was.
Yeah, so Daniel Bryan even got involved, and it's like, dude, like, come on.
And you're really? A face. You're not supposed to help.
Yeah.
What's going on? This show was not good whatsoever.
This is
weird as hell.
Yeah, I just don't. WWE main roster, I just don't care anymore. You know what I mean? Like especially right now. I mean, we always have been saying for months that SmackDown has been awful.
Yes.
And then all the shows are suffering on main roster, and SmackDown is like I didn't think SmackDown could be so bad. Like where they just don't care, and it's like if you don't, I understand that you can only work with what you can do in these times, but it's like just don't have the show. Just be like, hey, so like WrestleMania is postponed, everything's postponed. How about we just show like the top 100 moments of SmackDown?
Yes.
For the next coming weeks, we'll just show all these moments, and boom, you just show like legit matches from SmackDown's history, something like that.
And you remember they gave WrestleMania 30 this last Sunday on ESPN, correct? Mm-hmm. Even the ratings were bad, and they were pissed. They were upset because we should have got these all great ratings. No one cares. In the state of the product currently is bad. Yeah. No one wants to be engaged with wrestling, and that happens to us. We've been in shows, we've been in things like we get to exposure like with a lot of fans. They just don't care. Mm-hmm. There's people that say it's terrible, is in the worst state that it's ever been.
Why do you see a lot of people wearing Macho Man T-shirts or Stone Cold or The Rock, Undertaker, Hogan, all them? Why don't you see you see maybe a couple AJ Styles or Seth Rollins or somebody like that? But that's it. It's more old because we always say back then is when it was presented legit. Now it's presented like bullshit and people don't care.
And yeah, and like, again, we always mention this in our show. So family, the ones that are always watching, they know. For things like this, people walk away. Stop watching. It's like, I don't care for anymore because you give me reasons not to care. So I'm just gonna follow it. So something that we do care is our boy Odie. Hi, Donkey. I'm mad. So we see Dolph Ziggler, he's backstage, and then we see Odie, he runs up to like him, and then people are separating. It's like you see the officials, you see Adam Pearce, he's like starting to separate, and then you see Otis going with Dolph, and now they start like going at it, and then they said, you're gonna have a match at WrestleMania. He's like, hey, yeah, I want it, and and like, so they finally get that match set up, and it says,
but like, let me just stop you right here. Don't you just love how like anybody can like I feel like I could challenge you right now to a match at WrestleMania and we probably get booked.
Yeah.
And like anybody could just be like, hey, you want to have a match at WrestleMania? And they're like, yep, and it's done. It's not like that's why I said there's no GM, there's like no law. It's like the wild wild west. Yeah. It's like where's Will Smith? What's going on?
It's worse than Will Smith, yeah.
Yeah, like what? Exactly.
The wild wild west. Yep. It's just as bad.
I would rather listen to you sing that song for 2 hours than watch SmackDown.
So very much. I try to do my best, but you're right. It's like, why do you have to, like, again, like you said, the art that is being lost right here is the art of like accomplishing things, earning things. Hey, we know WrestleMania again. What do they call it? The biggest stage of them all, the grandest stage ever.
The showcase of the immortals.
Of the immortals. So that means that, like, in order for you to just make the show, you need to be some kind of like good, legit. You have to have some kind of like legit matches. Be somebody that people respect, look up to, and not just go like, oh yeah, Jean Paul, you want to have a match? Like, oh yeah, sure.
But look at it like back in the day when you watched like matches, like the Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. Like, look at that story. How that story, was months and months, even years, if you want to consider going back to like Hell in a Cell and all that, in the making. Or stories like, Kane and Undertaker when they finally wrestled at WrestleMania. Stone Cold and The Rock. All these stories they were months and months in build. Not 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 months, not like boom, right before WrestleMania. Like, you should be planning at SummerSlam. That should be like, all right, I'm going to start planting the seeds for my guy who I want to main event WrestleMania. He should start his ascent up to the, to be the king of the mountain around SummerSlam, that around that time. Unless you want, like you build and if you want him to win the Royal Rumble, you build him up and then you put him in the Rumble and people might be like, oh, he might do it. And then he wins the Rumble. And then it's like, okay.
It makes sense because everybody also gets behind it. Like you said, it should be like that because then if the guy that is going for the main event is actually credible. It's like, it's not like, oh, it's Roman one more time. Or it's like, oh, just by the Royal Rumble time, oh yeah, let's pick somebody. Oh yeah, who are we going to put in the main event? And we know that it's not ever the main event anymore because Roman is always in the main event.
Yeah. Like, if you wanted to do Roman and Corbin, like, that should have been a feud that you did for a month or two. Corbin wins, clearly. Him and his goons, they climb the mountain. Corbin somehow becomes the champion. I don't like, not saying I wanted him to beat the Fiend or anything, but he somehow, like, becomes the champion. And then you do him and Roman at WrestleMania. That's how you do a feud if you want these guys to keep feuding. They visit once, the one guy wins, and then the other guy chases it. Not like they feud for 6-8 months, whatever it was, for nothing.
And having the same match, yeah. And, with any stipulation in the book. You're right. I absolutely agree. And that's why WrestleMania feels like nothing anymore.
Yep.
Every single pay-per-view doesn't feel like the way they were presented to us. The main four, Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Those big deal. It doesn't feel like a big deal anymore. It just feels like, I'm going to be in the car regardless. Either I'm going to be in the Battle Royal. Hey, I'm going to have actually a match. And there's no one-on-one anymore. Remember?
You know what I'm thinking? I mean, it wouldn't have made sense storyline-wise at all. But this just randomly popped in my head. It would be a cool a cool thing to replace for Goldberg? Would be like make a triple threat for you. A triple threat with Cena and the Fiend.
And that's what a lot of people were saying. Exactly
that would be legit.
You know, they said two things. What you just mentioned that is brilliant. Also, they said, well, why don't you put Goldberg with somebody that is actually has a legit, real rivalry? And then somebody put a picture on Instagram and said,
Oh, the bro.
he's
That would
like,
be legit.
he put, I'm ready, Stalin. He even says, I'm like,
But
do
he would have
something
to
like,
be, if you put him in there, he'd have to win it.
well, yeah, but you
But
know,
then
like,
what? Then what does he do in NXT?
well, like he said, like remember what we cover in NXT with like the tag teams, like the
Uh
Samoans
huh.
and everything.
Oh,
He
unless they forfeit the belts.
well, like he sent a tweet. He's funny as crap. I gotta give credit to Maduro. He put like a tweet that said, "Hey Stallion Pete, I'm really lost without you. You need to come here, Stallion. I put my Stallion performance against Roderick Strong, but like these three idiots and this ball guy, like who like came out and they beat me up. Come back, Stallion, like right away." And then the Bivens, he answers like, "Oh, no wonder you hate ball guys." And that's why you hate Goldberg hates you also.
That's awesome.
But see, why
Yeah.
don't they go those routes? You know, put a swerve so people. I said this is the type of situations when you can make when everything's going wrong, make the best of it. This is kind
Mm-hmm.
of like, hey, bring the NXT guys. Let's give them a legit show. Same thing. Jeff Hardy, bring Matt Riddle. Do the complete unexpected. That's the beauty of wrestling that everybody's forgetting about. Something that like we would have never thought of seeing, and we're seeing.
Yep.
And they don't do that anymore. Instead of that, we get a thing with Elias that he was talking. He was streaming his guitar and he was playing a song about Baron Corbin called "The Kingdom of Fools." He stamped Corbin's face on toilet paper and he called like a bunch of dirt because they
Mm-hmm.
have a picture that is like toilet paper with the face of King Corbin. So it was just a joke. Then he ran up on Elias and beat him down in the crow's nest where Elias was, and then Corbin kicked Elias over the overlook balcony thing. And then of course they had to do the. We knew that it was happening. Pushes him, done. And
When he hit, I was like, he's dead. That's it. I just like he's because the way he just, I mean, he fell and it was just like so flat, so heavy. He fell, he hit the ground, and I was like, maybe this is the way that maybe they won't have this match now at WrestleMania. Maybe it'll be like, oh, Elias is done.
yeah, like maybe it was the ways of reading him out of the whole storyline.
Yeah,
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, Elias has been taken to a facility,
a,
you know, to a public,
local
to a
medical.
local medical facility. Like his
Yeah,
condition is critical. What
which
the
I
hell?
love how they have to say medical facility. They can't say hospital.
Can you say hospital? You know, can
No,
you
that's
say
not. That's one of the banned words along with belt and
like
strap. Yeah, you
yeah,
can't
like
say any of that.
strap? Like what the what the hell?
Yeah, you have to call it a championship.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. Can we talk?
No,
Can we leave?
no.
So awful segment. Do I care for this too? Hell no. Elias is a terrible baby face right now, not because of his fault. I will say it's not his fault. It's just the way they portray this dude ever since he started to like hanging out with Shane O'Mac, and every time that he has a WrestleMania moment, he gets his ass kicked. Baron Corbin, same thing. He
Also,
became
what happened? Don't you like? I don't know how many weeks ago it was, but I feel like Sheamus just like fell off the face of the earth.
done. He's probably done.
That's what I mean. I'm like, where did Sheamus go? Like,
Four.
imagine Sheamus versus Goldberg.
See, that would be nice. There you go. You don't need to be, like exactly right here, people. I am tired of, booking this guy. I'm lobbying for this guy to get a contract. He doesn't charge much. And like he can move to Tampa, and he can do the show with me from Tampa, Florida. That will be fine. He'll be in the studio of the SmackDown. Like, hey, we're ready to do the review and everything. Come on, people. Sheamus will be the perfect guy. Why Braun Strowman?
Because he was calling out he said he's sick of the little guys. He wants to make SmackDown the land of the Titans. Who's bigger than Goldberg?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, come on.
come on. And
You're not going to have Goldberg drop the title anyway. It's not like Braun. I mean, hey, they could make Braun Strowman be their champion. And then we see him and Roman, which, I guess would be a better match.
Yeah, I guess. But like
I don't know. Yeah.
To me, Braun also like the champion. To me, to me, Braun is like having a gender. To me, it's as bad. I'm gonna tell you like a thing with the cornet. I'm gonna send that on your DM. I'm gonna send you like
he's gonna slide into the DM.
I'm gonna slide it on your DM. So
Yeah.
like this is a thing that Jim Cornette said because Braun was talking trash on Independent.
Oh, I saw that with the independent wrestlers. Yeah, some of them were asking for for money, like to donate.
Like, like support,
yeah,
and the donation is like buy my products.
yeah.
Hey, buy the
Oh yeah,
Road T-shirts.
yeah, we can get into that quick because he said like, he's like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. These indie guys crying for more money, and then he said, I don't know if he said how he has like he's like, why don't you get a job like me with a contract with guaranteed money? And Jim Cornette was like, you only got hired because you're big and you're strong, you lady. And he's like, I think he called him like a fat head or like a piece of shit or something like that.
We can call it. It's our show. He called it a fat fuck.
Yeah. He was like so pissed off at him, and he was like, that's the only reason you got hired. He's like, these guys actually have talent and they have to prove their worth.
Yes.
He's like, you didn't prove anything.
Yes, and also like you said,
I don't know how you do it.
Jean Paul, you know what he said? He's like, you should look for a different profession. That's what he said. And you know what? Really?
Oh, Strowman. Yeah.
He's like, because if you're not able to make money like this, really, dude, come on. It's like, I'm fired up because like he's such a fucking ignorant. Why would you say that? If you weren't tall and you weren't like ripped, you wouldn't be anybody. You cannot wrestle.
Yeah.
You will never be. I mean, if you're champion like this, it's because of these circumstances. No one. You should have been champion. What? 3 years ago? 4 years ago? Do we care about you? No.
He's so done, man. To me, he's like the freaking all those guys like Undertaker tried to get over. Who's one? Heidenreich.
Oh yeah.
He's like all those guys, the big, intimidating guys who like Vince sees and he's like, oh, and it's that video where he's like in the chair and he falls over and like, is this somebody strip teasing for him or something?
Yeah,
she's on the table on the desk, and he's like, to me, that's what that is when he sees guys like Braun Strowman, and it's like. They have zero talent, right?
Yes. So, like, why would you say those kind of things? So we're giving you a lot of information on top of the show. So we're gonna go to something that you can tell even like how bad they think of Asuka, and you'll want to hear it from me. He knows it. He calls me on it on the time. It's okay. I love Alexa Bliss, but like I'm in love with like her the way she is because like I don't think she's a great wrestler either. But really, even like she beats Asuka now.
Yeah, and this was to get the match for WrestleMania, but now I heard that match isn't even going to happen. Which apparently they said they pre-taped stuff, but now they're saying Asuka is like she's sick. Yeah, she's sick. So when were they pre-taping WrestleMania? Because I've heard reports that they had that pre-taped last Wednesday. But now they're saying that they still needed to tape some stuff. So that's what I mean. It's so up in the air. You don't know what's truth, what's not. But to talk about what we do know in this match, like you said, they make Asuka look like a loser. They always mention her like 400, whatever it was, title reign, 500-day title reign, undefeated. And then she loses to like
Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, hey,
Alexa Bliss.
I love her, but you know what? We need to be objective here. She's not a wrestler able to beat Asuka in a real fight, only in a regular scenario. Nikki Cross was on commentary. I love Nikki Cross, but that was weird as hell. The whole commentary, the whole interaction with Michael Cole, like you said, if he's sick, let's say the Miz was right next to Michael Cole, he might be sick. Nikki was holding Michael Cole, now she might be sick. And we're maybe a little bit paranoid about it, but like that was really bad. The whole interaction, she was going like.
No, but that's not. But I mean, that's how quickly it does.
It spreads out.
Yeah.
So like, they have the match. Asuka did not look good because look, who wants to do this for Alexa Bliss knowing that Asuka is that legit?
I was like, there is a couple moments I was legit laughing at this show just by how bad it was.
Yes.
When they killed Elias, when they pushed him off the stage and he died, like he hit the ground like freaking Mankind and done. I laughed at that, and I laughed at like it seemed in this match somebody does a move like Asuka does a suplex, dances, throws Alexa Bliss into the steps, dances. Alexa does a move, she dances. Nikki dances. They're just all dancing.
Can we have some continuity here?
I'm like, can there be a match? Or should they just get a? Like, I was waiting for Kairi Sane to come out on the stage
and he looked like Thriller, yeah.
Dancing. I'm like, what is? I'm like, this is just a joke. It's just a joke.
It was. So always like last sequence, Bliss sends Asuka into the ring post, then roll her inside for a 2 count. Then Nikki Cross kept hitting Michael Cole and annoying him. See, even I have that on the notes. Asuka grabbed Alexa Bliss, and then she tried to do the Asuka lock on the ropes, and then Alexa somehow just managed her ropes and then she nails a DDT and done. So with one DDT, you're finishing Asuka. With one DDT, I mean, if it is the snake, I get it, but not Alexa Bliss.
If it's the snake, if it's Raven, if it's Dreamer, if it's literally anybody who's not named Alexa Bliss.
Yes. And you know, when I said I love you, but when I have to be objective, I have to be objective because I will be a piece of trash if I will not back up.
But you see, I'm not even fired up. Normally, I'd be like, "This is bullshit. Asuka's legit." Blah blah blah. Because I love Asuka, but I'm like, I don't care anymore because it's like they don't care.
Next week, myself here, barking at everybody. Why? Because he's gonna quarantine himself until the show is good.
Oh well, then I'll never be on SmackDown.
Yeah,
it'll be 5 years from now, and I still won't be here. But no, they just, like I said, they just haven't presented these people, anybody on SmackDown besides the people that they like. They haven't presented them in a legit way, so it's like, why even get upset when they lose?
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean? It's like, what's the point? Like, and first of all, Asuka's not even on this show; she's on Raw, so it's like I don't even care.
Yeah, why is she there? Yeah, there's so many gaps. Yeah. Yes, and like you said, they were supposedly going to have it was supposed to be a triple threat for the women's tag team titles. It was going to be Beth Phoenix, Natalya, Alexa Bliss, Nikki, and the Kabuki Warriors.
Oh, speaking of when you said Beth Phoenix, I heard a thing now. I don't know if you saw this, but Edge was another one.
Yes, I heard that too. Yeah, I heard that too.
Edge is trying to be quarantining himself, and I guess they didn't record his last man standing match yet.
I don't like you said. There's so many conflicting things.
That's the biggest match on WrestleMania's card.
Yeah, to me, that should be the main event because Edge is coming back. He's returning, and there's like you said in the Monday Night Raw. We mentioned this is in the channel family, so please feel free to watch. Is the most legit rivalry out of all the matches in WrestleMania so far. At least it has like 2.5, 3 month build up. So at least it should be the best match out of everything. But if they were not able to even do that, what is that telling you? So then, of course, they went to like a match. So like they always kill time. So they gave us Triple H and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 32. And, you know, we know what happened over there. And then they had Triple H talking on like a kind of like a promo. But he did say something that is absolutely the truth. He said, you know, to tell me like you face both men. What is like what makes each man special? And he says Goldberg both of them are really intense. They both excel intensity. But Goldberg's is done. He goes, Goldberg is like 2 moves and done.
Yeah, he's like, if you can survive the initial onslaught of Goldberg and tire him out, you have a chance to win. He's like, and Roman, that's what Roman does. Roman can survive, and as the match goes on, he's like, Roman gets better. And with Goldberg, it's the opposite. If he doesn't beat you within the first 2-3 minutes, you have a good chance.
Yes, so pretty much that's what he's saying. Like to anybody, you gotta like go over the 3-minute mark, and you'll be fine. So that's pretty much what Triple H said. Then we get a promo by the New Day, and the New Day were talking about the match that they're going to have with the Usos, and they were saying that they cannot wait for it to be WrestleMania time, and then they're going to end up like, you know, becoming like an 8-time WWE Tag Team Champions. And and then we get the thing with like Mandy. Mandy is going. Dolph Ziggler is talking to Sonya Deville, and then we see Mandy going. He's like, "Can I have a second with my man, please?" So then we go to her, and she's like, what is this nonsense with Otis? He's like, don't worry, baby. Like, I got it. I'll beat him up. And he's like, hey, just remember that I'm not a prize, so make sure you guys are not fighting over me. So he's like, yeah, whatever. You know, they completely even ruined that for me.
Oh, that's what I mean. Like, they took the one storyline that we actually cared about for a couple of weeks. They, like, ruined it. To me, like I said, Mandy shouldn't be what they're fighting over. Mandy should be like the sprinkles on top of the ice cream. And the ice cream should be the tag team title belts. Miz and Morrison should have never won them. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler should have won them. And then it should have been Heavy Machinery versus Ziggler and Roode at WrestleMania.
And it makes more sense. And also like having Mandy kind of playing with both. And not mean, you know, kind of like leading anybody on, but playing face with both. So that way you don't know which side she's going to pick. You know, during the match. But of course they gotta kill that too. So we're gonna go
because you could even do something like this. To me, I would book it where it's like the ref is knocked out and like maybe Tucky's knocked out and Ziggler has like a chair and he's gonna crack freaking Otis with it, and then Mandy gets in the way and is like, like she protects Otis and stuff,
Exactly.
and maybe even Ziggler swings it and he hits her, and then
Yes.
Otis freaks out, and then he beats up Ziggler, and then they pin him, and you could have had this big like awesome moment, but
You could have, yes, but of course not, because that's what they do. They kill the things that like you could possibly see is going to be a legit moment. Of course, they have to kill it and cut it from the root, or do their best so like it loses complete interest. So going to interesting things, we go to the Firefly fan house and see this was a little better to me. At least it was a decent like promo and everything. So Bray Wyatt, he was looking at a photo of John Cena and beating him up at WrestleMania 30. Then he turned on the charm because he's like, oh, he's super duper excited to see us. And then he tried to like teach us something, but then the Fiend kind of kept looking at him and he's like, shut up, shut up. Ugh. So then Wyatt is saying that he's disappointed, but he's ready to like give us. He is like what's Avi the witch.
Yeah,
she's like, oh, do you have like a recipe to like how to beat John Cena? Because like I know how to beat John Cena. He's like, yeah, I have a recipe, and then boop, we get the thing. Is like,
yeah, he actually has a recipe. Yeah, he's like
recipe.
making a drink like in a blender, like a sports drink for when he does his workouts.
Yes, it's like oh, I'm gonna give you the recipe of how to beat John Cena. So he added disappointed, self-loathing, hot sauce for flavor, and then rage and resentment. And they put it in a blender. You see like a lot of resentment. You saw a big chunk of resentment right there. And then we see Rambling Rabbit. Rabbit. He comes in and he's like, Ray, you gotta give a carrot, so make it healthy or something.
Yeah, he's like a carrot so you can see John. He's like so you can see it.
Yes, because carrots have vitamin A and it improves your vision.
But also and can you see John Cena? Like you can't see me. And all that other like I said, right? So because Rambling Rabbit, he is always like a fan of whoever Bray Wyatt's going against. Like he loves Seth Rollins and all that stuff. So And then what did he do with him?
And then Bray grabs him, and then he puts him in the blender. And he's like, oh, and then you know what is like the best like ingredient out of all of them? And he says is like, what is he trying to like say is like opinions. Yeah, he's saying it's like other people's opinions. That's what he's like, oh, but that's the best thing. It's like, Bray, no. And he's like, da.
Yep.
And we got to see actually he goes, da. And then he gets a drink. Maybe we see like the orange thing because of I guess Ramble Rabbit, I don't know. And then he's like he drinks that and then he says it went right to his head. And then we see like the light bulb. Ding! And then Bray Wyatt says that their match isn't going to be ordinary at all. So they made a Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania. So that was on me to me the best thing. And see, when Bray Wyatt is like ready to cut a really good promo, he's good. He's good. Hopefully he gets the win, because that will be the way to resurrect the Fiend. But I will definitely would have done what you just mentioned a few minutes ago. It should have been a triple threat. It should have been the Fiend. It should have been Cena and Goldberg. And then the Fiend gets it back. And, people will say, okay, whatever. It's my title again. Everything goes back to normal because when the Fiend was the champion, the whole world was good.
Yep.
So maybe that will be the cure for coronavirus. Might be like give the Fiend
let him in. Let
him in. So that takes us to the main event, the New Day versus the Usos. Morrison and The Miz were on commentary. Also, they played out awful because they were kind of like talking to Michael Cole, and at some point, they're like, you're not even calling the match. And Michael Cole goes like, well, can you guys let me call the match? And then they're like really, really bad. Then, like, they didn't even focus on the match at all. They were
because Michael Cole is, first of all, when I hear Michael Cole on commentary, to me, he just sucks the life out of the show. I don't know what you feel, but there's no excitement. He doesn't really joke about anything, and if he does, it's super cringy. Like we were watching old TNA, so you got like Mike Tenay on there, who's so great, and just from NXT is normally great. AEW is usually pretty good, even though we kind of shit on Excalibur from time to time. And then you watch Monday Night Raw, and you SmackDown. And it's like the commentary teams on these shows are so awful. The wrestling's awful. It's just like everything's awful.
Yes.
And it's like you said, he wasn't even calling the match. He was just making fun of Miz and Morrison the whole time. And it's like, dude, can you just call the match? I mean, I know we've seen the Usos and the New Day wrestle 1,000 times before, but can you still call the match?
Yeah, and then it was that bad that like Morrison and the Miz, they started to do the chants. This is awesome. This is awesome. And then fight forever. fight forever, and all
Which
of
I
that.
thought was funny. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, nobody's getting behind these guys. We're trying to get their chance going. I think they even did the New Day Rocks.
Yes, yeah, they got up and they're like, "New, they rocked," and then also like, "Oos, what's going on, Oos? Like you're not doing this right, Oos." So they kept going at it. So these end up, like you said, that was a little bit decent. But again, we know that the Miz is not going to be part of WrestleMania, so it wasn't worth it for anything. It's completely meaningless. So you were just, and then it turned out to be a disqualification. It turned out to be a disqualification. Morrison and the Miz, they actually started attacking to, I think it was the New Day, and then the Usos and all the three teams start fighting, and then it's like, oh, the show is about to go on there, and Michael Cole, of course, bringing back kind of like the manager. Remember when the manager will be the computer? Kind of like that. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I've been informed by WWE officials that you're not going to face one of these teams, and you're going to end up facing both of these teams and a triple threat.
Yeah, in which I don't like when they word it like that because they try to surprise you and make it that it's like he's not going to face anybody. So you will face neither of these two teams. You'll face both. And it's like, okay, well, you just lied to me because you said I'll face neither of these two teams. But I'm facing both. Like, they try to be, like, funny and tricky. And it's like, you just sound like an idiot.
Yes. And that's what I mean. And also, like, because it sounds like you said, so, like, unreal. Why? Because it's like, oh, like you see, like, the Miz and like, yeah, legit, we got it. Both teams. Oh, my God. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean.
How do you go from, like, oh, my God. Like, what the hell? Like, it's like it doesn't seem real, It's like you should be like, all right, whatever. At least we're not gonna
like because like if you wanted to save this somehow, it should have been like they're not going against any of these two teams. They're going against Rude and Ziggler, and then he could have been like, oh, sorry, Otis, I'm gonna have to kick your ass later. And then during this match, you could have Otis jump the barricade from the crowd, beat up Ziggler, cause them to lose, and then Ziggler and Otis could continue their feud after that. So then that would be a way that he would get one up on Ziggler.
And see, and then
causing them to, not have the title opportunity last week.
And the one thing that you're mentioning, I really appreciate that is because see, you're mixing both stories. For example, that Goldberg and Ziggler has a lot of potential, but also of course, if you put gold behind that, it's going to be even more legit. Yeah. It's going to be more.
And what did I say in the beginning with the women? You got like the women's storyline. I like when you have two stories that are going on their own. And they cross paths. Like Ghostbusters said, don't cross the streams. Well, in WWE, cross the streams of the storylines.
That's right.
And, just get everything all mixed together because that's how it should feel.
It should feel like that. They should feel like that, but they don't do it. So pretty much that was the whole show. It didn't actually ended up at like 9:55. It was like 5 minutes to spare. But we're gonna have a lot of news. We're gonna keep bringing you news. Even we will come we'll have, if that's necessary, we'll come out of nowhere, which is a video of like the news that we have from WrestleMania. Because like Jean Paul is saying, there's reports coming out every hour. It's like this is what happened, this is what didn't happen, this is what actually happened, and we know that this is gonna happen. Like this guy replaced this guy. It's a complete mess. I don't think it's never been this messy because this is like the word. It's a messy WrestleMania, and all of that is a result of what? Somebody just wanted to have a show that should not take place. Should have been postponed, so everybody was ready to rock, because Mania should have every single one that is a legit wrestler on the card. So, Jean-Paul, any closing thoughts before we go?
No, I think we're good. I think we ranted enough. For
now, but we'll be back, like always. We will not stop because even we go by what they say. Wrestling never stops or never sleeps, and neither do we. So we're always bringing you a lot of content. You see Jean-Paul unboxing the Pro Wrestling Crate. Doom, for the ones that love gaming. Legit game, legit franchise. Is pretty interesting. They came out. It's something that we can forget about what's going on in the world. I have soccer for you all over there. I have a lot of tournaments for everybody, soccer gamers right there. I have also gameplay for WWE 19, 2K19, because we refuse to play 20. And also, like we said, we have Judas from a few years ago. So, please check us out. We have a lot of content for you, family. Thank you so very much. Don't forget to subscribe and the bell, ding, and check us out on the social media world. And in the name of Jean-Paul and myself, we both want to say...